Was Andrew Embley, will he play Swans this week, or are we still a little bit away there?
No, a lot will depend on how he feels after tomorrow's main session. So it's certainly getting close, but we're not going to play him until we really think he's ready to go. And that could be tomorrow after we talk to him after training.
Is that the natural course for him, though, going through the WAFL?
It would be, yes. I would expect at this stage, yeah.
Has he done any contact work?
Yeah, he's done a lot, yeah.
How he feels, is that the shoulder or how the legs feel from
everything? Yeah, just confidence about are you ready to play. So that's overall conditioning and everything.
Is the soft tissue element the biggest concern with that amount of time out?
Yeah, well, that's in the background. It's not a concern, but players coming back after a fair while out are always at maybe some slightly elevated risk of soft tissue problems, but we're confident we can manage through all that.
Do you know how many ideally you reckon he'll need before?
No, that will be made depending on so many factors of how he goes when he gets back and going and how he pulls up.
On those injured bucks, Josh Kennedy, is there any plan to introduce him into the main training as yet, or is he still a bit away?
His timing at the moment, in terms of joining in main training, I would think it's still another week away. Yeah, so maybe next week, or maybe the week after.
How's the mood of the boys and the playing group after it's been a tough couple of weeks for you?
Yeah, 2 losses, but the mood is about constant improvement and challenging ourselves to keep improving and getting better, and looking forward to those opportunities.
What do you need to improve on from those 2 losses? Have you learned anything in particular?
Learn a lot, yeah, learn a lot from every game, wins and losses. Specifically over the last 2 weeks, just around scoring from stoppages, that we've leaked way too many goals. So we're confident we can address that fairly quickly with what we do. And in terms of the rest of our game, that's constant improvement, always aiming to get that better.
Who's responsible for that, do you feel? Was it the ruckman not working properly, or was it the midfielders?
No, it's a bit of everything, a bit of the general team, the way we all set up, our attitude around those contests. So forwards and backs are included in that a lot of the times.
Did you believe that your ability to score from stoppages was strong earlier in the year?
It's been pretty good, yeah. Up until the last 2 weeks, we were fairly highly rated in terms of scoring from stoppages, both us versus our opposition.
Just in terms of Shuey, no doubt it would have been tough for him watching on, knowing he should have been out there the past 2 weeks. What do you think he learned from that period out of the game?
What did he learn? I'd only be guessing because I haven't actually asked him.
What do you hope he learned from?
I hope he learned that you take responsibility for your actions, and you'll pay a price if you're undisciplined. And I'm sure he's learnt that lesson. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what he brings. He's a good mix for what our midfield types are. He's not exactly the same as any of the other players that go through there.
So were you surprised the Bow Waters clash with Tippett that it was even investigated? No,
it was a head clash, and I think the match review panel have probably got an obligation if someone's knocked out to investigate that. There was 2 blokes knocked out, so they investigated. They didn't necessarily say they were investigating Bow Waters. They looked at the clash.
And in terms of Bo then, do you think you need to, does he have to change his game, or are you happy?
Don't lead with his head, because it took a toll on him as well, there's no doubt about that. So we want him fresh and up and going, not knocked out. Yeah,
and is there a fear though that he continues to play that way, which obviously it's a great way to play, but sometimes he lives on that tightrope a little bit of being suspended?
Yeah, that's the nature of the game. Players get suspended these days that aren't seen as thugs of the game, and 10 years ago those players, they were normal bumps and they would just keep playing. They don't go out and punch blokes or anything like that. That was sort of what the old system used to catch mainly. Yeah, that's just the nature. Every player lives on that really fine line. Jack Zeeble, no one would say that he plays outside the rules, but it's a fine line. It's such a fine line.
Rose obviously got a hard head. How's he? He spoke to us. I don't seem to arrive. Is he still okay after that collision?
Yeah, no, he pulled up well. So he's got a hard knee as well.
How's how's Josh Hill looking for this week?
Looking good. Yeah, yeah.
So
No.
it's pretty much a certain inclusion.
Yeah. If no setbacks in training, he'll be up and going.
Matt Prittis in any doubt?
Don't think so. No, not in my mind. He's not.
In his mind, he was out there with the rehab guys.
Yeah, no, that's normal. If they've got any fatigue or soreness, they'll do that in preparation for tomorrow's session. Just check them out.
Did he pull up well after the game, standing sort of?
I think he pulled up all right. Yeah, I think he might have a cork or something like that. That's about it. So just run that out a bit.
Have you seen Brisbane, John, this season?
They're brilliant in round 10. Yeah, it's the closest look I've had of them. I can judge them on that. But no, very competitive. You know, got some really good inclusions into their side this year, and they'll represent a great challenge for us.
And having 3 straight games at home, a rare opportunity during the season, does that give you the chance to do anything different, preparing your players and training?
Not really, no. It's when we look at our overall plan, we certainly take into account the lack of travel in these 3 weeks, but it doesn't change things too much.
Brisbane only had 20 inside 50s when they played Freo here earlier this year. Do you specifically look at that game more so than others, or doesn't come into your...
Not really, no. I think from that game, Brisbane would have learned a fair bit from what happened to them in that game, and I think they've put a lot of things in place since that time.
Brad Dick, I think he's played 3 games now on the waffle.
Yep.
Is he edging closer? Is he any chance this week? Yeah.
Not this week, no. But he's tracking along exceptionally well where we're at. So our number one focus for Brad is to not put him at any sort of risk, depending on how he's feeling, fatigue, all those sort of things. So I think East Fremantle will have a big game against Claremont this week and then a bye the following week. That will fit perfectly in Brad's schedule to freshen him up after a good 5 or 6 weeks of footy. And then we'll make a decision on how many more games we want him to play throughout this year.
And Mitch Brown also didn't, I think he only played a quarter or so on the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, or is he?
Yeah, he's got to get through a fitness test. So he's a test for this week. But at this stage, I think likely to be okay. He took himself off because he felt his hamstring tighten and it was more precautionary. So we'll see how it goes after having a few days off.